Satya Dharma Reflection on March 24th, 2022. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. May we all, humans and non-humans, in all realms of existence, from the lowest hell realms until the Brahma realms, including all the special karmic payback zone, humbly bow down towards the Buddhas, the Maha-Buddhas, the Maha-Bodhisattvas, the Maha-Parami. Please preside over. May we humbly declare renunciation and evocation of all desires and expectations, both in the worldly and in Dharma. May we declare renunciation and evocation of all desires and elusive attachments to gain within the body and the mind, within seeing, looking, and knowing. All the deluded desires and expectations within all things and all elements. May we declare renunciation and evocation of all of these, and may we all cancel all vengeance, all the harbor thoughts to revenge, all the commitments, and all the obligations. May we declare renunciation and evocation, and humbly ask for forgiveness for all cases of karma which we have had towards one another. Whether it is the karma towards the graces, towards one another, towards all beings, in whichever realms, from the lowest hell realms until the Brahma realms. No matter who is the one who take actions or the victims, all the relations towards one another and towards the graces, towards all beings, towards all things and all elements, which is not in the way of emptiness to emptiness, nibbana to nibbana. For all cases of karma, all types of karma, may we humbly ask for forgiveness. May all types of karma be forgiven for all of us from now onwards. May Samsara and Nibbana forgive one another altogether. May everything be forgiven. Ahosi, ahosi, ahosi. The karma that is derived from hurting and harming the life, from war, no matter where and which realms, all the hurting and harming, quarrels, killing one another, may everything be forgiven. Ahosi, ahosi, ahosi. Whether it is the involved parties in war, in conflicts towards one another, or the cheering teams, this is all about karma. All these collective emotions, hurting and harming, destroying, killing, seizing, blocking one another from all groups of beings from the past, no matter how many eons of times or how many Buddha eras until the present. Even is going to be karmic difficulties further in the future. May everything be forgiven. Ahosi, ahosi, ahosi. The Vedana will just be full of the world. This is without realizing. Even doing nothing is still full of Vedana. The indifference is just not helpful. There are just karma and karma, Vedana and Vedana. This is not just heated or boiling, not only in hell, even in the heaven, still boiling. Even one is still in the stillness, indifference, or equanimity. Once the opening is there, one has to receive the Vedana all the same. Therefore, let's purify through the extinction and emptiness for samsara altogether. Disregard from the disregard itself. Don't hide anywhere within stillness, indifference, or whatever. Hiding within single-mindedness or any types of dharma whatsoever. At times, one has to open up all the senses to take on the Vedana all the same. Let's help purify through the extinction and emptiness altogether. Open up the senses and sense perception through uninvolved, even within the uninvolved itself. Disregard, even from the disregard itself, altogether through the senses and sense perceptions. Don't be obsessed with behaviors of greed, accumulating merits, great blessed fortunes, grasping towards something that is not about grasping. It's impossible to accumulate it. Being obsessed to grasp towards that which is not about grasping is gonna be karmic difficulties of the delusion to grasp onwards. Grasping for the body, mind, elements, life, happiness, comforts. This is all about anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Even the grasping itself is anicca, dukkha, and anatta in itself. Let's purify through Nirodha and Nibbana, disregard, even from the disregard itself, for everything altogether. Help give ending for samsara onwards, altogether. Diligently share the great compassion for one another. Diligently assume the thought to purify itself, disregard even from the disregard itself, uninvolved even within the uninvolved itself. The mighty force of the purification through the extinction and the emptiness will be radiating in all directions, all the 4 and the 8 directions, so well with the essence. Why being obsessed to make the mind and the body in whatever ways for what? To create karma for what? The more one does, the more it becomes karma, adding on the world and samsara, that which is not samsara but being created as samsara. Why making the mind or practice the mind is anatta as it is already. Suchness doesn't grasp itself as it is. The anatta doesn't grasp itself as it is. Why being obsessed to attach or detach in whatever ways again? Why being obsessed to use titi to delusively attaching and detaching is already not attaching as it is. Why being obsessed to delusively attaching and detaching, creating a lot of ways and paths, which is creating all realms of existence, from Brahma realms to hell realms, is not about practicing disregard, even from the disregard itself, uninvolved, even within the uninvolved itself, is not about practicing anything. Then it will be instantly aligned with the non-attachment as it is. That which is uninvolved, even within the uninvolved itself. Then it will be aligned with that which has no one being attached or detached instantly. It will be aligned with that which has no one attaching or detaching, disregard, even from the disregard itself. Then there will be no one that is enlightened or not. This is aligned with the extinction and emptiness that purifies samsara. This is like being obsessed with delusively practicing, forming up the practicing delusively. The more practicing is endless, because the practice itself is endless, always arising, on and on. That which is not attaching or detaching as it is anicca, dukkha, and anatta. It's all enlightened, but there's a delusion of not cutting all by oneself. Disregard even from the disregard itself. Why being obsessed with making the mind and the body in whatever ways for what? Until it's full of karma and karmic difficulties. Why being obsessed to hide within the stillness and indifference, thinking that it's true? One has to open up to take on the karma and karmic difficulties and the vedana as usual. Why hiding there? Being obsessed with solitude from the solitude itself. You know, the solitude is the delusion in itself. Solitude from the solitude itself is not about something that is taking the solitude from something. Why being deluded to the silence, giving significance and meanings in it. Silence from the silence itself. Disregard from the disregard itself. This has nothing to do with senses and sense perceptions. This is the great compassion in helping ending for samsara. Why being obsessed with each one's own realms, self that is not self as it is. Why creating anatta as a substantial thing, taking that which is not substantial to be substantial, for what this is wrapped by the fixation of one's own viewpoint, being obsessed with the form up and be deluded with it. Being obsessed with the form up and being deluded to it by oneself. Taking that which is not about something as something. No is not even no itself. Don't be obsessed with the form up and be devoted to the form up itself. Don't be obsessed with the concoction and be deluded to it, on and on. Even the disregard is not relevant to itself. Even the disregard is not itself. Don't be obsessed to be deluded to kick the ball into one's own delusive attachment. Practicing by the sake of taking, obtaining, and accumulating the merit and great best fortunes, grasping towards something that is non-grasping in itself, while being obsessed to grasp, delusively grasping. Don't be obsessed to give significance and meanings towards something that is not substantial, creating the insubstantial as substantial. No is not even no itself. Don't be busy with the circling titi, with opinions and meanings that is circling. Don't be obsessed with samsara of titi, samsara of opinions and meanings. Uninvolved even within the uninvolved itself. The disregard has nothing to do with itself. The disregard is not the disregard itself. No is not even no itself. Disregard even from the disregard itself. The disregard is not relevant to itself, is not even itself. So that there will be no delusion in giving significance within the insubstantial thing. So that there will be no misleading to give significance as substantial, as someone who is enlightened or not, as someone who is understand or not, so that it will end all the misleading to take any state of mind or state of Dharma attainment as something. Even the disregard is not the disregard itself. Even the disregard is not itself. Let's purify through the extinction and the emptiness for all realms of existence, uninvolved even within the uninvolved itself, disregard from the disregard itself. This will purify through the extinction and the emptiness for all beingness of realms of existence within the mind and within Dharma attainments. What is there that is maintained? That is the realms of existence in itself. Any types of Dharma attainments within the mind or the realms of the mind that is maintained is in itself realm of existence. Dissolve it altogether. The knowing and the seeing is not maintained itself. Any conditions, stillness, indifference, not maintaining itself, so that it will purify all about delusion to maintain anything. Disregard even from the disregard itself. The disregard doesn't grasp itself. This will dissolve all realms of existence within the mind, within body-mind aggregates, and within Dharma altogether. uninvolved even within the uninvolved itself continuously. That is compassion, great compassion in helping through the unwinding. Disregard even from the disregard itself continuously. This is compassion, great compassion in helping through the purification of extinction and emptiness and ending. Whether it is being deluded or not is anatta, that which has nothing to do with being deluded or not. Uninvolved even within the uninvolved itself. That which has nothing to do with being deluded or not, uninvolved even within the uninvolved itself. Opening that doesn't grasp itself, open up senses and sense perception without grasping in itself. In a way that is disregard even from the disregard itself, uninvolved even within the uninvolved itself. The opening that doesn't grasp itself, there is no pitfall, there is only the great compassion that is formed up. The mighty force will be purifying through the emptiness, helping through the unwinding and ceasing all by itself. There will be the cutting of the cycle all by itself. Disregard even from the disregard itself in the way of opening the senses and sense perceptions open up. Opening up in the way of blessing, not in the way of sightseeing. Opening in the way of helping through the purification of extinction and emptiness. Ceasing the cycle of samsara as helping. Therefore, once the senses and sense perception are opening already, disregard even from the disregard itself simultaneously, absolutely, altogether. There will be simultaneous purification of the extinction for all the senses that linking towards samsara. Disregard even from the disregard itself. This is not opening the senses to grasp anything. This is not about open up the eyes and the ears to grasp the sounds or the sights or taste, touches and shapes. This is not about searching through looking and seeing or knowing. This is not the victim of the desire of titi. The urge to see or to know is the victim of the desire within titi or within looking and seeing and knowing. Let's purify looking, seeing and knowing and titi itself. The seer and the knower purifies itself. Disregard even from the disregard itself all the same. Therefore, it will be natural purification for the seeing and knowing. Let's not be busy with being victim of the desire of all the looking, seeing and knowing and the titi itself. That which has nothing to do with the disregard or not, to be given all the same. The disregard is considered as good already, but it has to be beyond goodness, purify the goodness as well.